Hello, hello, welcome back. Welcome to my damper and dip video. Okay, damper and dip. So it's an old indigenous recipe and they used to call it damper and dip. So we're going to do my original plain damper first, and then we are going to make kangaroo curry. First thing we need to do is preheat our ovens to 220 degrees Celsius. We need to get out a cookie tray with some baking paper. If you don't have baking paper, just sprinkle a heap of plain flour over it. Now we need 45 grams of butter. We want to chop it up in squares and stick it in a bowl for a second. We want to get a large bowl out and we want to sift 2 1/4 cups of self-raising flour. So to that we add 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of plain white sugar. Mix it through with a spoon. Now we want to put our 45 grams of butter in there, and with our fingertips we want to just rub it into the flour. Press with your fingertips and keep pressing the butter into the flour until we can't see butter anymore. Once we've done that, we want to get ourselves, you just need a wooden or a plastic end of a spoon, utensil, whatever you want to call it. If you haven't got one of these babies here, they're only a couple of bucks, grab one, because when you're doing doughs they're just freaking awesome for it. Okay, now we've rubbed the butter in. We want to put 1 cup of milk in, and with the end of plastic or wooden end of anything, we want to stir it into a mess. Alright, once we've got our one pile of goo like that, scrape it all into a pile. Now grab some plain flour. Now the best way to make the best sort of dampers is to not stuff around with them too much. You don't want to, it doesn't matter how much you use, you're only going to use as much as you need. You don't want to, so you could see how it was all guzzy, so as you push it in, the flour we just put around the outside falls in under it, and then in a second you'll be able to pick it up in a bowl, like that, you see, without any kneading at all. Just a little bit of a thing in your hands to get it into a circly thing. So yeah, the best way to make damper is to not knead it and that. People knead it or you don't. You just need to work with it enough. Need to work with it enough to get it into a bowl. Okay, onto our tray. Alrighty, once we've got it onto our tray, we want to make this one a bit oblong. So just push it down, squeeze it in a bit. Just make it into a little bit of a log like that. Okay, once our oven is hot enough, we want to bang it in there 28 minutes later in the electric oven, and we got ourselves a damper. So normally what we do is the curry ought to be ready and you just grab chunks and just pull them off and wad a heap of butter on. Oh my god, that's hot. I don't know about you guys, but look at this. It's just so yummy and moist and soft, and it's got that beautiful crunchy crust on it. It's a really nice plain damper. Alright, onto the kangaroo curry. Onto our kangaroo curry. Okay, so this recipe I'm using, I think it's just over 1 kilo of kangaroo steak, they call it. Now if you're somewhere else in the world, you can use any other sort of game meat you want. Over in America, I think it's like bison, like any game meat at all. Okay, next thing we need is 1 large onion. So I've only got a little one, so I'm going to use a couple. We need some apple cider vinegar. We need some Keen's curry powder, or any curry powder. If you can't get a hold of curry powder or it's too expensive where you are, I've got a recipe that I'll whack at the end for you to make your own homemade curry powder. We need 2 cloves of crushed garlic, or the jar garlic. We need a can of diced tomatoes. That's 400 grams. It doesn't matter if it's bigger or smaller. And we need at least up to 1 litre of chicken stock. So the first thing we're going to do is chop our onions up. Once we've done that, we set it aside. Alright, now for our kangaroo meat. It's a gorgeous meat. It's like all game meat. There is hardly any fat at all on it. It is just absolutely stunning. So you can cut it either way. You can cut it into cubes, or you can cut it into strips. So today I feel like cutting it into pieces like that. So after I sliced this fillet up, I got the next one out and I made a big mistake. I decided to go off with the fairies and not think what I was doing. You have to cut it really thin like these pieces I've just done. All the pieces that I cut were really thin, would just melt in your mouth beautiful. All the big chunky pieces I did, you could chew on them for hours. Mate, the whole thing is absolutely amazing, but I'm absolutely spewing. I didn't think about what I was doing and cut them all really thin. So please, cut them very, very thin and it will come out beautiful. Once we've done that, we are ready to cook this bad boy up. Now, you kind of need a heavy base pan, so I'm going to use my electric frying pan. Oh mate, I cannot wait for this one. I'm freaking starving. Alright, we're going to put it on a medium heat, heat her up. Now we're going to grab some olive oil or butter, okay, it doesn't matter which one, roughly a tablespoon of either. First thing we want to do is put our onion in, just for a couple of minutes until it's see-through. Alrighty, a couple of minutes later, we want to put 2 cloves of crushed garlic or 2 heaped teaspoons of dark garlic. 3 teaspoons of the Keen's curry powder, or if you're going to do the homemade one, you'd use the whole lot of the homemade one. Alright, now we want to mix that in really well, and we just want to cook it for 1 minute. Oh, once we've got that beautiful aroma going, now we want to add our meat, and we want to brown it for 1 minute either side. 2 minutes later, we add our can of tomatoes. If you've got big tomatoes, just crush it down. Now we want to put enough chicken stock to just cover everything. Now what we want to do is just give it a good mix through. We want to bring it up to a simmer and we want to lightly simmer it for up to half an hour. Okay, now that I've just turned it off, we want to get 2 tablespoons of our apple cider vinegar. We want to put them in there and stir it around, and mate, we are ready to serve. Now I forgot to say to you guys at this stage, once you put that vinegar in, if you go to taste it straight away, it's going to taste like shit. You've got to give it a couple of minutes to really meld into the flavours, and then it will taste beautiful. Mate, there you have it. Dip and damper. Big wad of butter on there. If you've got some fresh parsley, you can just whack a little bit on if you want, just for the... I'm just doing it for a photo. But it's actually pretty nice with it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have yourselves a cracker of a night. You've got to give this one a go. It's bloody beautiful. I'll see you soon. Bye.